We are ascending in part 9. This is about to fall. We are ascending in part 9 with those spidey senses. See, sometimes you put something down and then you get a feeling like, oh, hold up, it wasn't supposed to be there. And you get to change things. That's what's nice with having the perspective that comes with 9. Just in general. This is episode 4. I'm your host, Tehuti. All right, I'm like slightly delirious because it is 6 a.m. and I have just been chiefing, making art. So, hey, we're in here. It is a vibe. This is like almost my most authentic self. You know, like when you get sleep deprived, you may have seen my eyes just in the last segment because I just filmed that like at like 3 a.m. So then I take a slight break, make some other art, and here I am, continuing to decode, decipher, decrypt. I forgot the actual other D's. See, look what happens when you're sleep deprived. You definitely feel me. We are in human bodies together here, and it is really fun. It's very fun. I think one of my favorite just spaceships to be in is to stay up late to the point of being delirious and then continuing to make art and and see what happens with the brain and see where just the mind and heart goes. It's because it's like being drunk in that way where your prefrontal cortex is not functioning as much, so your judgment and self-critical sort of containment is shut down. So then you're just like more loopy, basically, which is why people like to drink. They get out of their own way, so to speak. Where it's just less conscious and more subconscious, channeled through the conscious. That's why alcohol and just other states of consciousness are fun, because it's all the subconscious. It's all you. So it's just not you being super judgmental in how you were taught to act. That's the point of why people do substances in general, is to make sure that they're still in check with honestly who they truly are versus just their operative consciousness for being able to function in whatever reality that they're surviving at the given moment. So here in segment 9 of episode 4, it looks like we're about to start reading about the key of magic. So, cool. I'm sure it's not going to actually be magic, but this video definitely will be. I totally hope that you are sparking up with me. Or at the very least, drinking water. I hope you are drinking water. Let me just say that. Honestly, that's all I want for you. Drink water. If you're here, it means you want to be connected, and drinking water is the best way to do that. Your body will love it. I promise. I promise. I truly do. Just make sure you program the water with the right intentions and feelings that support your dreams. That's magic. So let's get into the key of magic. Hearken, O men, to the wisdom of magic. Hearken to the knowledge of powers forgotten. Long ago, in the days of the first man, warfare began between darkness and light. Warfare. Darkness and light. So darkness is a feminine, light is a masculine. So war began between women and men, but really just the two opposite sides of spirit, not to make it so gendered. Yin and yang, positive and negative, basically. And warfare is so much a projection of how these entities are fighting inside themselves. You could easily say a dance or an interaction or just like infinite communication, sex. But no, warfare, because this is way more Martian view. Men then, as now, were filled with both darkness and light. In some darkness held sway, in others light filled the soul. Like that doesn't really mean anything, actually. Like you have to be taught like what darkness and light are. And then like you're just being told by these people that like, oh, okay, light is good and darkness is bad. So in some darkness swayed them, so they're bad. But in others, light filled their soul. But light filling your soul can be equally as bad. It's like who's light and what vibration is the light? What? Age old is this warfare, the eternal struggle between darkness and light. They're trying to say that darkness is ignorance, but light is equally ignorance, and I've already explained that. Fiercely is it fought all through the ages, using strange powers hidden to man. There have been adepts filled with the blackness, struggling always against the light, but others filled with brightness have ever conquered the darkness of night. Wherever you may be in all ages and planes, surely you shall know of the battle with night. Long ages ago, the sons of the morning, descending, found the world filled with night. They hate indigenous people so much. It's disgusting. There in that past began the struggle, the age-old battle of darkness and light. Does it have to be a battle? It doesn't. What a major projection. Martians. Many in that time were so filled with darkness, only feebly flamed the light from the night. What does that mean, dude? Like, light is just a specific individual's imagination versus darkness is a collective imagination. Because it's still light. Darkness is still light. It's just if it's darkness, then it's everyone connecting versus one light being an individual. So if an individual is filled up with light, they're filled up with either their own individual thought or someone else's. These entities are obsessed with being created by something else and then projecting that onto everything else because it then allows them to commit horrible genocides and atrocities on everyone that they want to and somehow get away with it. Because in their mind, they're like, well, it's all source, so it's all me, 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 me. And because I was saved by the Lord and Savior, I have jurisdiction over you. And then they feel like they can commit all the sins that their Lord and Savior is telling them not to do. This is what? Yo, logic, bro. Wild. Dark masters sought ever to tie in the fetters. Right. Okay, wait, we're not there yet. Some masters of darkness sought to fill all with their darkness, sought to draw others into their night. How about into their light? Light is desire. Whatever. It's all desire. So light is desire to be an individual. Darkness is the desire to connect. This is why if you really want to connect with people, you turn out the lights. Wow. I never really thought about that. I never really thought about like why do people like to turn out the lights when they are about to engage in some sort of sexual play in any way, or at the very least dim the lights. Like you're not gonna catch many people. Like that's only if you're like watching it on your phone, right? But like if you're actually doing it and you're actually connecting with other spirits who are doing it, I haven't met many spirits when talking about this who have the lights on. Like generally people will turn the lights off if they're about to engage in any sort of sexual romantic relations. And it's literally definitely because of this subconscious spiritual truth that darkness is the desire to connect and light is the desire to be an individual. And the whole universe is a balance of these things. This is why when you look out into the night sky, you just see all these lights in a sea of darkness because they can only shine their light if they desire to connect. which is why then it looks like fire, but you can't actually see fire, and it looks like water, but you can't actually see water. It's actually all air, and then it all feels like earth, but that earth is vibrating at water because that's the vibration, and it's being used for the intention, which is the fire, and then that's what it looks like. This is elemental, and then just light. So that's what we're talking about. Like, darkness is the desire to connect. These entities, these light white supremacists, desire to disconnect you from yourself so hard, so hard. They want to make you hate everything involved with indigenous spirituality and indigenous cultures when they themselves are colonizing my tablets to make themselves more powerful. So it's literally like they need the darkness to power their light, but they're so in their ego of light and ignorance that they want to despise the darkness. And that manifests as the insane slavery throughout North and South America and all the just genocide against quote unquote black people that they made up, right? Black people, indigenous people, all that. It's all the darkness. They hate emotion, all right? Because emotion is what connects us. Logic is what separates us. Logic is what makes us an individual. So that's the light. And it's all light because it's all the desire to externalize oneself. So then we're talking about light is visible and darkness is invisible. And what's invisible, you're feeling. So when you're in the darkness, everyone is invisible. You can only feel people. That's what it means to really connect. That's why people turn out the lights when they're having sex, because they're focused on connecting instead of judging and like looking and seeing and just like using this vision. Is about feeling. This is the point. That's what darkness is. So darkness is all feeling. So these entities also hate themselves and hate their own darkness, hate their own feelings, their own internal realms so much that they are creating all this to project it then onto you and all of us. And then they colonize my things and then act like I hate darkness as well. I love myself. I love all parts of myself. This is the wisdom. If you don't love yourself, then you're going to externalize that in the world. So darkness is a representation of the emotions you don't want to see. This is like when I get like so many questions for Cosmic Conversations about like specifically depression and mental health. It's generally like people then like using the words like darkness and using terms like well, yeah, like darkness and negativity and evil together. And it's like, it's such a light white supremacist English way of looking at it. This is why we're addressing it. Because it's the main issue. One of the main issues is that spirits do not want to be alone in their darkness. They do not want to be their own light in their own darkness. Because that's how you become a ascended one. That's how you become your own seed and create life. So they're trying to be filled up with the light of some other source consciousness. They're trying to get married to me. They're trying to go somewhere else, some other spirit for some kind of drug. Because that's what it is. Their desire will never end. They'll keep consuming whatever light makes them feel better about the negativity that they're constantly creating from the inside. And then that's why religions have wars. And it's so violent. And people who like claim to be so religious and like so about peace will be the most violent, because if they're so outwardly about peace, it's because they're overcompensating for how inwardly unpeaceful they are. So like they need to like overly judge the way other people are peaceful too. And then that's where you get Christianity coming over to North and South and Central America and doing all these evil things and consistently doing them to this day and building systems on doing them, because in their mind it's about peace, when really peace is just a piece of their part of the universe, which is them separating themselves and being lost in light, versus whole. Whole is darkness. That's why a black hole is darkness, never ending emotions. A hole is dark. That's what they hate, but they need it. As Thoth, as Tehuti, I am whole. It looks like a piece of infinity always. That's the point of us shining our light in any realm of reality that we're in. Like, we are infinite individuals, and then we become more infinite when we're together. That's what clusters of stars are in general. So, peace and wholeness. The masters of brightness fiercely withstood them, fiercely fought the darkness of night. Dark masters sought ever to tighten the fetters, the chains that bind men to the darkness of night. And yeah, darkness is ignorance, but look, light is really ignorance, because anytime you're shining a light, that is just what you desire to see, and you are thus limiting yourself to your awareness. If you truly sit in the darkness, you will see what you're meant to see from your spirit, because the spirit uses light to communicate, but it will communicate that through the darkness. So if you're projecting out a light, or already picking light out to like pick or just perceive, that's already you creating an echo chamber and blocking yourself in light based on your awareness up to that point. Which is why the mind is the most prized possession. Because if an entity can get you to trap yourself in their light, like their virtual reality or their technology, their phone, their TVs, whatever, then they can make you feel like they're your spirit and keep you communicating with them instead of you communicating with yourself. They banded together as an order. Brothers of darkness they were through the ages, antagonists to the children of men. Secret and hidden they walked always, found, yet not found by the children of men. Forever they walked and worked in darkness, hiding from light in the darkness of night. Silently, secretly, they used their power, enslaving and binding the souls of men. Unseen they come, and unseen they go. Man, in his ignorance, calls them from below. Dark is the way the dark brothers travel, dark of the darkness, not of the night. Traveling over earth, they walk through man's dreams. From the darkness around them, they gain power to call other dwellers from out of their plane, in ways that are dark and unseen by man. Into man's mind space reach the dark brothers. Oh, it's like Skyrim. Around it they close the veil of their night. There through its lifetime, that soul dwells in bondage, bound by the fetters of the veil of the night. Mighty are they in forbidden knowledge, forbidden because it is one with the night. There's just, so darkness is infinite. That's the point. Forbidden, like when we're talking about occult or darkness, that is the unseen. And the unseen is the true infinity, the true expression of spirit. So that's why darkness is a true expression of spirit. Light is the desire. Spirit is inherently light. Darkness is all the light coming together because a spirit needs to be able to connect with other spirits. And that darkness is what's necessary for all spirits to connect with each other at any given moment before they can shine their light together. Which is why it's going to look like looking into the night sky and then you see lights in a web or just in cosmic blackness. Because they want to trap you in a simulation, they're focused on telling you to fill yourself up with light so that the moment you die, you come back here because you see the light. And you're like, oh, and all that. Mighty are they in forbidden knowledge, forbidden because it is one with the night. Hearken, O man, and listen to my warning. Be free from the bondage of night. Surrender not your soul to the brothers of darkness. Keep your face ever turned towards the light. O man, do you not know that your sorrow has only come through the veil of the night? O man, heed my warning. Strive ever upward. Turn your soul toward the light. So what that just means metaphysically, they're making it sound very white supremacist. The light is just your higher thought. So that's like all a light is. That's what light is supposed to be. When you're in your feelings, right? Anytime you're in your feelings, you are forgetting that you are not your feelings. So anytime you are like, the deeper you get into feeling something, the deeper you're becoming oppositional to your spirit, because your spirit is nothing. That being said, that feeling is what creates life. Your spirit is not life, but it generates feelings so that it can create life. So it's then a matter of where you channel those feelings. So this is why it's important to have a thought, a light structure set up that you feel like represents your spirit, your infinite nothingness, so that all the feelings that your spirit generates, you can put it into your light. And then that's where, if you're angry, you're sad, you're depressed, you're anxious, you're nervous, you're even jealous, any emotion, you can pump it into your dream and use it to make awesome art. And then that's where you will create the life of your dreams genuinely. And that's what it really means to turn your soul towards the light. That's what it means. It means creating your own infinite idea that is now finite because you're creating it. So the moment you have something, it's finite. But like the fact that it came from your infinite imagination means cool. You're making some awesome art. You can then take all of your feelings about that. Like you can take all your negative feelings about that, all the feelings that you have about that idea, and use it to fuel it and communicate it in a powerful way, which will then bring it to life. The brothers of darkness seek for their brothers, those who have traveled the pathway of light. For well they know that those who have traveled far towards the sun in their pathway of light have great and yet greater power to bind with darkness the children of light. Light, 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 light. They are obsessed. I mean, it's only so many words, but like they're obsessed. No, it's an agenda. Listen, oh man, to he who comes to you, but weigh in the balance if his words be of light. For what does that even mean? All words are light, dude. All the words are a thought vibrating at the feeling of the spirit who put that word out. That's the point of what makes me getting to make these videos so awesome. You get to actually hear my vibration coming from my space instead of just reading the word. Because that's the thing with reading. Like when you just see the word, you have to project your own feeling from your own space onto it based on the context of that space. Here, you have a much more organic sense of the space I'm coming from, the space that this vibration is being created from, so that then all the details that the vibration is animating have much more information, basically. So it's just like they're like just really trying to get us lost, right? Like for real, they're it's frustrating, honestly. Frustration precedes breakthrough, though. Whatever. For many, it is now the sun up. It was it is now the sun up, my guy. Whoa. It was dark when I started this. It was real dark. And then it's quite bright. That's comedy. We went from night, from dusk to dawn. Thank God. Out of the age of ignorance. It's so scary at nighttime. I'm so glad everything is getting projected upon by that bright light in the sky. We need that light. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. We need that light. Melanin is you needing that light. It's not like you need to protect yourself from that light. I'm going off on a thing about the sun right now. I am getting like, forget light, bro. It's all darkness. Like, nah. Anubis and I, like, I am more light than Anubis, and we are both about the darkness. That's why they have to use my stuff and twist it into light so hard. I would never be. I would be way more about darkness, because the point of darkness is to connect. I wouldn't be able to connect with you if it weren't for darkness. Light is just what that connection inevitably looks like, because we are all individuals. And when the spirit externalizes itself, it first looks like light. And that's the alone realm. It is easy. Listen, O man, till he comes for you, but weigh the balance. If his words be of light, all words are of light, right? For many there are who walk in dark brightness, and yet are not the children of light. Dark brightness. It is easy to follow their pathway, easy to follow the path that they lead. But, O man, heed my warning. Light comes only to him who strives. So that's what I'm talking about. You have to create. It's not about coming, but, light. When we're talking about light, we're talking about your imagination. The imagination you desire to see. Any light is a desire. That's the inner fire. The first fire is the desire. So any desire that you want to see, any imagination you want to see manifested in this realm, yeah, you have to strive for it, which means you have to create it internally first. And you have to constantly ignite your own water with your fire so that you can create the chi, which is the air to communicate it in this realm enough for it to actually practically fall into stable structures. This is literally how we build life, guys. The fact that they don't have me talking about it in these tablets, shame on them, because I definitely wrote it. I definitely wrote it like this. And whatever, here we are, because they're keeping that for themselves and using it against everybody while telling them it's fake. And then when they finally release it, it's just this Christian stuff, basically, where they're just trying to make you hate your emotions and love the logic of being connected to their Holy Spirit. Boo. Yet know, O man, that he who overcomes will be freed by the pathway of light. O man, know in the end that light must conquer. Wow. There it is. Man must conquer the woman. Fucking. Oh. Boo. I hate it. I'm not a fan. And darkness and night must be banished from light. So after everything I said, think about how truly toxically masculine and white supremacist that is. That individuality must banish connection. Because that's literally what it's coming down to. This is literally it. This is literally it, guys. This is literally it. Light is individuality and darkness is connection. And it's all light. Because it's all the externalization of nothingness. And that nothingness is best characterized by darkness, because that nothingness is simultaneously connected yet separate. That's what we are as spirits. We're all alone. We are all alone. That's why this culture, white light supremacists, project out so hard through all their Renaissance and European stuff, how dark and scary and sad it is to be alone, because they hate themselves so much. They hate their alone realms so much that they need to bring it here. And that's how hell is created. It's because we create life. It's everyone creating life together. It's comedy. Hard is a pathway that leads to wisdom. Hard is a pathway that leads to the light. Many stones you will find in your pathway. Many the mountains you will climb towards the light. See, it's just talking about discipline here. Just Virgo stuff. You got to believe in yourself. So that's the point of obstacles. You set a life up for yourself, like a video game. Can you imagine playing a video game where there's no obstacles? Would you play a video game? Really, would you play a video game where there's no obstacles, where there's no problems? I don't think you would. I don't think that would be a very interesting game. I don't think you would find any real value in that game. So everyone values himself to some degree, or else you would not have externalized yourself from nothingness. You would not have created a body, created any kind of light to articulate who you are and how you feel. Yet know, O man, that he who overcomes will be freed by the pathway of light. O man, know in the end that light must conquer in darkness, and night must be banished from light. So that's just, yeah, the desire for white supremacy. Listen, O man, and heed this wisdom. This is a logic that colonized the Americas and really all of this body of water that we now call Earth. Even as darkness, so is the light. When darkness is banished and all veils are rended, how dare you? Dark, literally when connection is banished. So they're saying like connection because look, what this metaphysically means is that they want you to be connected to their light. So all of your darkness needs to be banished, but you can't banish darkness. It's just going to inform the light that is filling it up, because that's what they're talking about, filling up your darkness with light and getting that source light and making sure you're connecting to that thing. And really, it's just about keeping you trapped in the simulation because they're colonizing the simulation to colonize everything you can see. So they need to convince you that your spirit is something you can see so that they can keep you trapped in slavery. Listen, O man, and heed this wisdom, even as darkness, so is light. When darkness is banished and all veils are rended, out shall flash from darkness the light. Even as exist among men the dark brothers, so there exist the brothers of light. They are antagonists of the brothers of darkness, seeking to free men from the night. They have powers, mighty and potent. Knowing the law, the planets obey. They work ever in harmony and order, freeing the man's soul from its bondage of night. They, too, walk secret and hidden, unknown to the children of man. They have ever fought the dark brothers, conquered in conquering time without end. Yet always, light shall in the end be master, driving away the darkness of night. I, man, know this knowing. Beside you always walk the children of light. They are masters of the sun power, the ever unseen guardians of men. Open to all is their pathway, open to he who will walk in the light. Free they are of dark immensity, free of the halls where life reigns supreme. Sons they are, and lords of the morning, children of light to shine among men. They are like man, and yet are unlike. They were never divided in the past. They have been one in oneness eternal, throughout all space since the beginning of time. They came up in oneness with the All One. Okay, up from the first space, formed and unformed. They have been one in oneness eternal throughout all space since the beginning of time. So that's all of us. Everything in this reality is a reflection of you because we're all infinite nothingness. So that's all of us. We've all been one in oneness eternal throughout all of space in the beginning of time. Because time is different for all of us. That's where now, like with the paradox, there are older spirits. Because it is actually going to come down to a feeling, just straight up feeling. Because time is a logical blocking out of feeling from there. So the beginning of time, like you are the center of your universe, the beginning of your time is the beginning of time. But there's never going to be a beginning of time. Like the moment you figure out like the beginning of time, you've kind of just figured out the beginning of one individual's perspective of time. Because really there's no time. There's like time is an illusion. So time is just what is created by us as spirits so that we can actually logically ground the way that we experience the changing of our emotions inside of any physical reality. that we create to play in. It's still all being created from nothingness, though. And the spirit is not feeling. So there's no time without feeling. So if you're not feeling anything, like what kind of time? How are you counting seconds? And that's why they call it seconds. So like, what came first? You. And you are your feeling. You are the soul. And then you're counting seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now the numbers are the light that come out of that. So you are the first light. So that's where you yourself, your soul, is a darkness, though. So they really want you to hate your soul. They really want you to hate your soul. And they really want you to hate indigenous people, because that's like the soul of spirituality in this realm, especially with how they're colonizing it and their relationship and just everything in interplay in this lifetime, in this dimension. So that's where the soul is your darkness. That's invisible. And then it looks like numbers. Your soul looks like numbers. So then when we connect our souls together, that's all the number stuff that I'm kicking as Tehuti. As just any of my creations, anything with wisdom, wisdom in general, just the God of wisdom. Doesn't matter the label of what God or like how people want to relate with me. The point is this, that you come first, your feeling comes first, and then numbers come second, and that is time. That's why you count seconds, and that's because that is light, and it's all light because it's all externalization of spirit. Just know then that darkness is the invisible and the light is the visible, and there always must be the invisible before the visible, the feminine before the masculine. The spirit is nothing, but it is overall feminine before it's a man, before it's masculine, because the feminine is the collective energy that allows life to be created, whereas the masculine is then the individuality that can then be expressed inside of that creation. But if there's no creation for individuality to be expressed inside of, it's not going to be seen. So this is just the interplay that we do when we're creating life forever. They came up in oneness with the All One, up from the first space, formed and unformed. They have been given secrets to man. Thou shalt guard and protect him from all harm. He who would travel the path of the Master must be free from the bondage of night. He must conquer the formless and shapeless, and conquer the phantom of fear, knowing he must gain all the secrets. He must travel the pathway that leads through the darkness, yet ever before him keep the light of his goal. He shall meet great obstacles on the pathway, yet must press on to the light of the sun. Hear, O man, the sun is a symbol of the light that shines at the end of your road. Now to you I give the secrets, now to meet the dark power, meet and conquer the fear from the night. Only by knowing can you conquer, only by knowing can you have light. Now I give to you the knowledge, known to the masters, the knowing that conquers all the dark fears. Use this, the wisdom I give you, and you shall be master over the brothers of night. They didn't even give you anything. What is this? That's so whack. They literally just basically, I'm pretty sure he just said worship lords. What? Bro, worship lords and fill yourself up with light. Boo. When unto you comes a feeling, drawing you nearer to the darker gate, examine your heart and find if the feeling has come from within. Whoa. If you find the darkness is your own thoughts, banish them from your mind. Disagree. Let's send through your body a wave of vibration, irregular first and regular second, repeating time after time until free. Start the wave force in your brain center. Direct it in waves from your head to your feet. But if you find your own heart is not darkened, know that a force is directed to you. Only by knowing can you overcome it. Only by wisdom can you hope to be free. But like, if the darkness is your own thoughts, banish them from your mind. So they're trying to say any darkness that you have is your spirit trying to keep you connected to yourself. This is what people really don't understand about darkness and like negativity and like the issues that they have internally is like it's literally just the spirit projecting negativity to you when things are going well because it is overactively trying to protect you. That's like when you have the idea of feminine energy being toxically, so it gets bitchy. This is what it means to be like a nagging bitch. Is like your own feminine. So like you have a thought that you want to focus on as a spirit. You have a man that you want to focus on. But your woman, your feelings are like, yeah, but this feeling, but this, hey, but this, you gotta think about this. And now you as a spirit, you're like, I just want to focus on my thought. But your woman is protecting you. Like that's the part of your spirit that is working to actually keep you all one with itself. Because it doesn't want you to get lost in whatever masculine desire that you have in front of you that's like blinding you. So again, just the interplay. And they're trying to tell you like banish any thoughts that are like negative, even if they're coming from yourself. You should that's how dare they? I would never tell you to banish thoughts. What? Bro, that's crazy. Yo, they're really capping actually. How dare they? That's not meditation. How is that meditation? Bro. But if you find your own heart is not darkened, know that a force is directed to you. Only by knowing can you overcome it. Only by wisdom can you hope to be free. Knowledge brings wisdom, and wisdom is power. Attain, and you shall have power over all. First seek a place bound by darkness. Place a circle about you. Stand erect in the midst of the circle. Use this formula, and you shall be free. This is about to be a ritual that you don't really have to do. This is definitely about to be some stuff that is just, it doesn't relate to you. Like the point of any story is not for you to start to worship that story. It's for you to learn about who you are in relationship to that story. And then learn about what you desire to build in the universe. At least that's how I feel. That's me. That's how I feel. And that's like the people I really resonate with. We build stuff over here with Tehuti as individuals. So colonizers are only going to perceive it as us worshiping something because that's what they're doing. And that's how they're colonizing the stuff that we leave behind when we're moving on to interdimensional things. Because, you know, it's just when you're making so many creations, you can't like keep tabs of all of them. It's now like it's the interplay of life. Colonizers and creators. Constantly communicating. We got the 4 C's. These are the 4 corners of the universe. Colonizers and communicators constantly. So hold up. Colonizers. And so that and is like up in the middle. So that's like the pyramid at the top. So it's like the house right there. Colonizers and creators constantly communicating. And then now that's just literally the universe. That's everything right there, honestly. First seek a place bound by darkness. Place a circle around you. Cool. So this is a ritual. But the point of this ritual, you would read it, take it as a grain of sand, create your own ritual based on your own darkness and your own feeling with your spirit. It's important to literally just do what feels right to you. But the point of you being in this space is to observe and learn from others because we are all sharing very similar experiences. So it is like if you don't know about your human body and you see someone else using their human body better and then they're living a better lifestyle, it would be wise to learn how to use the human body more like them because clearly they have some feeling and wisdom about the tools at their disposal. So this is the balance of, right, being alone versus all one. Raise your hands to the dark space above you. Close your eyes and draw in the light. Call to the spirit of light through the time space. The spirit of light through the time space. Yeah, how dare they? Using these words, and you shall be free. So they're literally like, you're already free, but they are capitalizing on like, okay, so anyone who feels enslaved, anyone who feels in bondage by their darkness, which means that you have low vibrations that you don't like inside of yourself, come call upon this light, which is going to be your freedom. And no light is freedom. No light is freedom. It's literally just because you perceive that light to be a higher vibration than you, which is you making that happen. It's still you creating life. You don't need to do that. You don't need to, like, this is how slavery works. Fill my body, O spirit of life. God damn. Bro, I didn't even read this. I promise you I didn't read this. I just knew it was going to be some lostness about filling you up. That's so whack. What a shame. How can you be free when you're full? Like, riddle me that. Riddle me that. How would I as Thoth, when I am so adamant about fasting, to be as close to the desireless state as possible so you can have control over your desires? How could I possibly say that you will be free by filling yourself up with light? Blasphemy. Blasphemy. I am so angry at these colonizers right now. Disgusting. Because, like, then people do this ritual and, like, this is the vibration. This is how you get colonized. This is the consent. This is like signing your soul away. This is what selling your soul is. Fill my body, O spirit of life. Fill my body with the spirit of life. Come from the flower that shines through the darkness. Come from the halls where the seven lords rule. Oh, so yes. So like I was talking about, all right, we make the numbers. We make the numbers because the numbers are logically how our soul looks when it moves. It's that simple. And when our souls move together, they look like numbers. And then that's why we get bigger as a collective. That's what numbers show. That's why money is about controlling the soul through numbers. This is all it is. They're literally turning, these white light supremacists are turning numbers into lords that they want you to worship and give your power away to. And it's just yourself, but it's their logical version of yourself because you can make up your own numbers. That's the thing. We can make up whole new number systems. The fact is, it's all just going to, we have to logically agree that this is how all of our souls move before we can actually build something. That's the point. That's the point. So the number stuff that we have going right now, I mean, it works. We can do anything, right? It's just like a matter of how chaotic do we want to get in doing anything versus just universally kind of like coming to some agreed terms, you know, because it's like, because we all want to be connected like that. But then if you don't want to be connected, you'll still be connected by nothingness. You can create your whole own number system and not be connected to the number system that souls are trained to perceive in a certain space. So here we are like, this is my point, right? Like we use numbers to express our individuality. Numbers are visibly what our invisibility looks like. Can you imagine a story without numbers, without like a quantity of something, without like multiple things? Like how? Like what is that story? How is that story not just nothingness, just space, just like then spirit? Because spirit isn't numbers. The moment spirit externalizes itself, it turns into the vibration. And then that's where the vibration is then like creates numbers, because numbers are what the vibration looks like. And that's the logic versus emotion. So they are trying to make you worship their logic of logic, their perspective of logic. Like, that's true lostness. Fill yourself up with the light from the halls where the seven lords rule. I name the seven by name. Oh. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Thundercats, unite. This is true Power Rangers assemble. Come colonize me. And like, just take me away. Ravish me. Numbers. You are the number. This is so wild. By their names, I call them to aid me. From what? Free me and save me from the darkness of night. So, like I said, spirits hate to be alone because they hate their own emotions. So they feel like they need to get married to a source. They feel like they need to get married to the source through me. They feel like they need to get married to Lucifer, to Jesus, to Buddha, to just any other number of individuals who have shined their light so bright that they feel like they can get filled up by that light. And then they will feel better once they're filled up by that light because they won't have to sit with their own darkness anymore. It's that simple. It's literally that simple. It just comes down to that. And this is about entities just weaponizing this and trying to force you to be full of their light, because you had to be taught what these things even mean. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is like such deep witchcraft of like learning the language and then learning how to like put yourself in these spells, like when you're spelling these words and all this. By their names, I call them to aid me. Free me from the darkness of light. Right. And it's just, spirits hate to be alone. So that's your darkness, is how you connect with yourself. How you connect with yourself is how you connect with others. So these spirits are like, the superheroes. They want to be superheroes, but they need to create the circumstance to be superheroes, which means people need to be saved. So they need to make people feel like they're unworthy so that they can come in and be like, hey, I'm worthy of you because you're not worthy of yourself. And then those spirits are like, oh, cool, thanks. And now they feel saved. You're not a superhero. No. Superheroes don't create the circumstance where they can then save people. And then they don't create systems where people are reliant on them constantly needing saving. That is worse than a superhero. That is a super duper villain. That is ultimate mind control and slavery of like the highest narcissistic, emotionally manipulative degree. Watch The Boys for that. Amazon snapped with that series because it's literally just that. This like literally that energy. And it relies on people feeling unworthy of themselves and feeling like they don't like their own emotions. Untanas, Huertas, Chital, and Goyana. Huertal, Semiveta, Ardal. By their names I implore you, free me from darkness and fill me with light. They're just calling upon like our indigenous stuff. Bro, like nah. So that's like, just whole Atlantean logical names. I do not need to get into this. It's clearly Atlantean and it's clearly names of other spirits, other entities that certainly have like nothing to do with this in this way. In the same way where they're trying to say that like, oh yes, Thoth wants you to, like, where they're saying I'm saying this, right? Like these names, these are, for all intents and purposes, this is a story. All right, leave these names alone, basically. Leave the spirits associated with these names alone. This is how the colonialism works, because they're just reliant, these colonizers, on trapping the energy of people who are performing this ritual and looking for help and looking for like saviors and whatever. So they're just making it work with what they've colonized from the past. Oh man, know that when you have done this, you shall be free from the fetters that bind you. You shall have cast off the bondage of the brothers of night. Do you not see that the names have the power to free by vibration the fetters that bind? No word can free you. A word itself is bondage. This is blasphemy. This is true blasphemy. For them to turn oh wow. Do you not see that the names have the power to free by vibration? No word can free a vibration. No. A word is what a vibration looks like. A word is what a vibration looks like. You can't have a word without a vibration. That's the me speaking, right? How would I be speaking any words without my voice, without this vibration coming out? How would I be able to do that without that sound? I wouldn't. So even like writing, you had to project the vibration onto the word. You had to be taught how to say it and how it's said before and just all that stuff to so the word is what a vibration looks like. No word can liberate you from a vibration. It's just going to make the vibration you already have denser. This is the problem with consuming your way to health. This is why fasting is the move. This is the whole issue with desire versus desirelessness. Because spirits desire so much to connect, but they hate themselves so much that they then bring all the things that they hate about themselves to any connection that they make. And that's how hell is created. And that's how hell is constantly created. Hell is constantly created by spirits connecting from a space where they're not connecting well with themselves. And then they're externalizing their negativity outward. And this is just constantly forever. This is just vibration. That's what we're talking about, like density. So that's why it's important to have the most spiritual relationships you can, where things will stay light. People communicate things to keep them light, and then you actually have freedom, and you're not bound by low things like jealousy or anger or resentment or guilt or whatever other low vibrations may keep you low and dense. Um, it makes no sense that any word or name would free you. I should be like, if this were really me writing it, I would be teaching you how to fast, and I would be giving you a bunch of tips and secrets and techniques on how you can fast and let go of all the words and conditioning of the world so that your spirit can communicate to you in a way that is truly authentic to who you are. And then the more that you allow your spirit to communicate to you in a way that's truly authentic to who you are, you yourself will learn about who you are as a body. And then that's the point of synchronicities. And then life will actually start to be created in your image, and you will actually bring heaven to earth. It's so frustrating that they're saying that I'm writing this, because they're clearly just, they've stolen what I put out, and they're only putting it out in a way that is meant to push the agenda of keeping you on source and keeping you trapped in this simulation so that they can keep sucking your soul and keep sucking your darkness while you run away from it like a treadmill. Use them to free your brother so that he too may come forth from the night. They're telling you to colonize your brothers. Oh man, you're your brother's helper. All right. So Christian colonialism, crusader stuff, right? Convert them. Let him not lie in the bondage of night. Now unto you I give my magic. Take it and dwell on the pathway of light. Light unto you, life unto you. Sun may be on the cycle above. Sun may you be on the cycle above. All right. That was a wild installment. I am delirious right now. It is 6:50 a.m. I may jump in here again for another one. So we're about to see what's going on in part whatever's next. Gang, 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 gang.